Good day and welcome to this brand new episode of Focus On. I am Fifi Peters. We are going to continue our conversation with Access Bank on their Womenpreneur Her Perfect Pitch competition for 2023. And in the previous episode, Access Bank CEO Sugendri Reddy took us through the rules and the insights into the competition. She also offered valuable advice to African womenpreneurs, urging them to be unapologetically committed to their business model and to never shy away from believing in all they can offer the world. Right now, we're going to speak more on the competition as well as women's crucial role in developing the African economy. I am joined by Menise Harron, the marketing manager at Access Bank South Africa, and Deirdre King, managing director of Jacaranda FM, who are both joining me in studio, of course. And to the both of you, good afternoon. It's great to have you. Menise, to begin with you, the importance of women's role in the economy, your view on that, and also your view on the valuable contributions they make in their respective industries.
Thank you, Fifi. Thanks a lot for having us. I think one of the major things that women bring to business and to the economy is, I think, adaptability.
Okay.
I think women are quite dynamic in the way they think. I think because they have so many roles that they fulfill, especially when you're a business owner, you're thinking business, but you're also thinking of what your impact on the society can be and on your community can be. And I think that's the role that we encourage women to have. I think, you know, if you look at innovation and you look at kind of thoughts around how businesses grow and how communities grow, women were part of that for ages. And I think one of the biggest things we need to do is encourage women to use their skill sets and use their adaptability and their innovative thinking to create their own businesses.
Sure.
So I think that's the kind of role that women have to play, especially community focused. The impact that they can make as women with a kind of a softer approach to things, I think.
Softer but impactful.
Yes.
And Deirdre, it brings me to you because this competition is clearly trying to fill in a gap that existed in the market, particularly as it does pertain to supporting women-led and owned businesses. Just in your view, give us a bit of color on that and what gap you think it's trying to fill.
So I think for me, we definitely see it. There's a lack of mentorship, certainly peer-on-peer mentorship, so women-on-women mentorship. And, last year what we did notice was a lot of people were excited about the competition, mostly excited about the mentorship that they would receive. So there's certainly, you could feel there's a gap in the market for that. And I think that's what's so key about this competition, is that you get mentorship as well as how to invest the money correctly. You get marketing spend, all of those kind of things to really assist a business.
Can we stay on mentorship for a short while, and Menise, maybe just to draw on your experience as a woman who has climbed the professional ladder, your take on mentorship and how it can be effective. I mean, you hear about it a lot, that mentorship ultimately key to your growth as a professional, but what is effective mentorship in your view, and how can one go about it that way?
I think mentorship is more than just having a conversation once in a month. I think a lot of people do that. You sign up for mentorship and you go and see your mentor once a month and you talk for an hour about what you think is important. I think mentorship needs to be practical and it needs to be related to what you have to achieve next. I found in my career that you cannot move forward if you don't have people assisting you in finding out where your blind spots are, finding out what you need to learn next, finding out what skills you need in order to achieve your next kind of goal. Sure. And I think women in business often don't have that. I mean, I ran my own business for 5 years and it was a challenge because I didn't know enough people at that point. So I didn't have enough people that could kind of teach me how to do business in general. How do I sort my finances out? How do I not run this business out of a personal bank account? How do I make sure that the next thing that I do is related to my business growth and not just my personal growth? And I think a lot of these women, the women have smaller businesses and they actually, they don't think of the business as a business.
Sure.
Sometimes they think of the business as an extension of themselves. and you almost need someone that can teach you that, like learn how to separate the two, learn how to run business as in proper business skills, you know, finances, taxes, registration, etc. So practical is very, very important, I think.
Sure. Deirdre, maybe to bring in the significance of Jacaranda FM being a largely women-led organization, how is your approach to business against the context of the conversation we're having?
So I think, you know, certainly what I've realized is probably the first time I've worked in a more predominantly female leadership type business. Sure. Is women are great at integrating. It's great at bringing the tribe along with you and making sure that everybody has a voice. And like, I just think women approach things quite differently. They approach it with heart and empathy, and we actually win more. It's certainly because we are so used to being in communities. How do we bring communities together? Our businesses have to be very similar to that. Like, how do we bring everybody on the journey for the greatest impact?
Okay. Yeah. So circling back to the competition then, and the importance of women entering business, and even the importance of women entering entrepreneurship. Moniz, what would you say about that?
So I think women, what we found last year in the competition, I think you know, Deirdre and I had the conversation as well. Women are problem solvers. So a lot of the businesses that we saw were solving problems for a gap somewhere, or for construction, or for you know, if I think about Sherry that won the competition in Jacaranda, she came up with a concept of assisting people to move their houses. Ninki that won on our competition for Womenpreneur solved the problem of clean water. Those were the kind of women that we saw, and I think that's what I also meant by saying innovation. You know, innovation is often connected to problem solving, and I think if you're a woman and you have an idea, don't just sit on the idea. Create something out of it, and especially if you have a passion about it or a passion for it, then create a business out of it. Why not?
Sure.
And you know, and create impact by using that business. I think the impact that those two women specifically have had on their communities around them has been incredible. You know, whenever Sherry talks, everyone goes, please can you come and see me, you know, because it's a problem that she's solving. And Ninki, the impact that she physically has on the community for clean water and providing that to communities that doesn't have it, in a very practical and accessible way, that is amazing. So I think, you know, women shouldn't just sit on the idea. Make it an entrepreneurship initiative from yourself. Because you can. You've got the potential to do it.
And you've got the potential to make a profit, and you've got the potential to have an impact, in a sense, on the community. You mentioned last year's competition, and maybe take us back to last year, or even the beginning of this concept, Deirdre. How did it all start?
So Jacaranda, we had her perfect pitch. Access Bank had Womenpreneur, and really, for me, I was an entrepreneur. I had an agency for 12 years, and I remember the struggles, exactly what Moniz was talking about. And where did one go, and where did one get the sort of the support that you required? Now, I'm very much like Women's Month comes along, and you know, you get 25% off shoes and all of this sort of stuff, but I'm kind of going, why are we pinkwashing things? It trivializes the journey that women take. So my brief to my station was, let's find something that really will support women in the best way, the most impactful way possible. And because entrepreneurship is very close to my heart, that's where we came from. So it was a brief to my team who came together, and we actually just then really conceptualized something that would actually have an impact on people's lives and their communities. That's really where her perfect pitch came from. Then Moniz and I were having a chat. I think we were at some cricket game, believe it or not. Sure. And we saw this meeting of the minds, and it was like, how can we bring these two very incredible properties together to have an even more meaningful impact?
So both of you have made mention of the fact that you were both entrepreneurs in your own right. Moniz, you said that you did it for 5 years. You ran your agency for around 10. So this competition, I'm sure, does have a lot of personal sentiment to you. You have touched on it a little briefly, Deirdre, but maybe if we can flesh that out as to exactly what entrepreneurship and women entrepreneurship means, and particularly the significance of this competition in potentially supporting a lot more entrepreneurs like yourself.
So I think Moniz touched on it when she had her own business. There's a loneliness when you have your own business. Like, who do I go to for tax advice or whatever? And you scramble around and you try and find people that can help. And what was really significant was that, certainly at the networking event, women coming together going, I'm a bookkeeper, someone going, oh, I need a bookkeeper, all of that. So it really created the space where people could network and get the support from each other. You know, part of the mentorship that comes out of Jacaranda, you get access to my finance department, to my research department, to my marketing department, to PR and digital, all those places that when you are an entrepreneur, I can certainly remember this when I had my own agency, you're everything.
Sure.
And you feel quite alone and you're working every hour that is sent to you, and you're kind of going, when do I have the time? Because you struggle to separate the you from the business because it's all encompassing. And when you start to really understand, and people are mentoring you in spaces and introducing you to the people that you need and assisting you, you start to see that this business organism is actually bigger than you. And that allows that business to grow even bigger and grow beyond you, which has huge impact on society, communities, and all. And I think that's the core to both of us of what's really, really important about this competition.
I can hear you agreeing with everything that Deirdre has said so far. I suppose just an add-on to what she had said, what would you say?
Yeah, I read earlier in the month around Women's Day, I read a quote that said, we are so much stronger if we support each other as women. And I think we lose that every now and again. Every now and again you go, I'm in this corporate world, you know, or I'm an entrepreneur, I need to fight for myself and whatever. And I've just realized if you connect yourself with women that are relevant to your space and support you and you support them, you are so much stronger. You have so much more potential, you've got so much more brains around the table. And I think that is important, and that's what this competition provides these ladies. And that's part of the mentorship, but it's also part of just the entire space that we're creating. All these ladies are connected to each other. So we're going to create a networking space afterwards as well for all the ladies that are part of this, that are not even part of the winning group. It doesn't have to be part of the winning group. It's just sharing space and knowledge and details and connection.
It's like the adage goes, if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. Just speaking about that collaboration that you both touched on. Okay, so then how do people enter? If females are interested, women are interested in this, where do they go?
They can go onto jacarandafm.com and just follow the prompts. And really, you got to start a profile. As some women have started a profile, they've got to go back and finish their profiles. Okay, yes. So it takes a bit of time, but it's what actually came out was really important, that some women actually sat down and really thought about their business when they entered last year. So it's a great exercise. Okay. So jacarandafm.com and follow the prompts.
Okay, Moniz, any other details they need to know about entering?
They can also go to morethanbanking.co.za, so Access Bank's website. We've got it on both. Okay. When they listen to the promos, they'll hear Jacaranda FM because it's, it's one of the spaces that they can enter. But yeah, like Deirdre says, follow the prompts and please complete your profile, because that's the part that's really important. Complete it and load the documentation. So yeah.
All right. Okay. So a message coming from both, which does bring us to the end of our Focus On segment for today. Of course, I was in conversation in studio right now with Moniz Heron, the marketing manager over at Access Bank South Africa, as well as Deirdre King, managing director of Jacaranda FM. And we hope to see you again. Goodbye.